So tell me about your store.
Issues Magazine Shop. We carry hard to find independent magazines from around the world.
Okay, and how did you come up with this idea?
I'm a magazine art director, so I've been making magazines here in Toronto for about 10 years. So I've been trying to source these things from around the world for years, and it's not easy.
Right,
so
right.
I wanted somewhere that you could find them.
This is great because now I think of Soup has a nice collection that they bring
Amazing
in.
fashion newsstand.
And then there's now you, but there's also AAVVGG at Richmond and Bathurst.
Yes.
That's a nice little selection.
Yeah. Big fans
And
of
then
that
now
merch.
you
Yeah.
know, I mean, not to put down the other places that have also brought stuff in, like the big stores and blah, blah, blah. And I remember back in the day, Book City over in the beaches was the place we'd all go because they always brought in more, as you know, right?
Yeah.
And then there was Maison de la International in Yorkville for a long
Yeah.
time. And then they
You could walk all the way around it.
Exactly.
Cash was in the middle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So you know. So you've been also
Yeah.
hunting. So you love magazines. What do you love about magazines?
I love that they bring together photography, illustration, writing, lived experience, and sort of the collaboration of all of those pieces is the thing that makes me the happiest.
And what have you noticed in the magazine business over time? What have you noticed has evolved in the evolution of them?
Well, we've seen the ones that are thriving become less commercial and more independent. So they're more sort of art objects, the care and attention to detail that goes into making them, the production value is higher, and they're aspiring to be things that people like keep on their coffee table on the long term.
Yeah. And I've been struck since the George Floyd murder and a number of things that many of them have begun to tell more gravitas stories. So you pick them up and they're as exactly what you said about like you want to keep them around to read the articles, right? That it's almost like it makes me think about Playboy back in the day that like what's the word I'm looking for? It's sort of traded in women's bodies, but at the same time they had these articles that told stories. And I find like
And
particularly
really incredible writers
exactly.
contributed to the magazine.
So I find now that we're almost back in that time where a lot of fashion-y magazines are doing more of that. They're telling you stories about what's going on in the world that connects everything together in a really amazing way.
Well, a magazine is both a sort of time capsule of a particular moment in time, right? Like it portrays that moment. We get to hear those stories from that perspective with whatever information was available at that time. And then I think also they're a vehicle for communication to a very niche audience, right? So like through that tone of voice or a shared interest or from a shared background. And so I think we're starting to understand the sort of nuanced lives that we live. We're interested in a lot more than, say, Playboy women's bodies, right? We also have other interests, things we want to learn about.
Perfect. And so the last question is, and why should people come to your store? Why should they come to the store?
I hope people come here just because they love magazines, they love print. We want people to hang out, we want them to chat with us, we want to meet you, we want to see you flip through magazines, we want to hear about your favorites. This is a community space as much as it is a retail store.
Yeah, and I also love that you have a diversity of magazines, right? Yeah. Which is really amazing as well, especially in the current time and the kind of Toronto we now live in, right? Yeah. It's really powerful. And so lastly, your name again and where you're located?
So I'm Nicola Hamilton. I'm the founder of Issues Magazine Shop, and we are at the corner of Dundas and Dufferin, 1489 Dundas Street West in Toronto.
Perfect. Thank you for talking to me. I'm going to roam around and look at some of these covers. That's what I love most about magazines, the covers. Thanks a lot.
There's some great ones.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. And if you're going to recommend, if you're going to say, here's ones that jump out for me, which are the ones?
Okay, my favorites right now, I'm obsessed with MacGuffin, which is about the life of things.
Mm-hmm. Where's that one? Can you point it out?
This is the most recent issue of MacGuffin. So it's an entire magazine about the chain. So it's super well researched, really well written, and it explores like every angle you can think of about this inanimate object.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, any others?
What else do I really love right now? You want to scour? Yeah. I dig also a lot. It's a women's skateboard magazine. So Rob Hewitt, the founder's daughter, picked up skateboarding and she didn't see herself represented in the community. So he started a magazine with her, for her, all about women's skateboarding.
Brilliant.
Which is pretty cool. What else am I a huge fan of right now? We talked about the Black Explorer already.
Yeah.
A really good one. Oh, Journal Safar is fun. I'm a graphic designer, so it's a graphic design journal out of Beirut, Lebanon.
Ooh, nice.
And so it's all about graphic design and visual culture coming out of Lebanon
So
right
literally
now.
you get stuff from all over the world.
All over.
Like you're not joking. Like
Nope. Yeah, and then these folks also make, I can't say, I don't know how to say this properly yet, Al Haya, which is all about women's stories.
Great. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. And I'm going to test some. Thanks a lot.